It's about 6:15 and time now for What's Trending. Well, we're going to give you some stories that follow the evolution of transportation. So we got to start with the most basic of all, a horse. And how about a Happy Meal for a horse? Well, that's becoming a familiar sight in this Florida town of LaBelle. Horses waiting in line at a McDonald's drive-thru. The horses are associated with a nonprofit that works with children dealing with trauma. And the owner says that this is the final step of training to get them comfortable being around people and different environments, and says that they need some good therapeutic situations, and this one works. The organization, as I said, is a nonprofit that also works with children in the 4-H program and other kids dealing with trauma or behavioral issues. So certainly an excellent organization, but something you don't see every day.
No, something you definitely don't see every day. My family owns a couple horses. They live out towards western Wisconsin. I know there is something soothing about horses, but definitely a unique sighting there at that McDonald's.
Yeah, and I wonder if they have to have special rules, because I know at least when I was in college, we would try to just walk through the drive-thru, right? And that was never allowed. And so, so I wonder if there's special rules about, anything other than a car or a truck going through.
Right, because it always seemed like the drive-thru stayed open later than the actual inside of the building, so you tried to find a way to get through the drive-thru.
To get your food, yeah.
Apparently you can take horses.
Your late-night munchies with a horse.
Exactly. Well, next we'll continue our transportation theme and move on to the train. A photo shoot turns into a near-death experience for one Pennsylvania family, and it was all caught on camera. A family photo shot on the tracks turned terrifying in a turn. This Pennsylvania family was posing on the railroad tracks when suddenly they heard it. A train comes barreling towards them, nearly turning their outing into a tragedy. The kids scatter as the man runs and grabs a small child and rushes across to safety. The train was there in seconds, but luckily the family managed to escape. Officials are using the video as an example of why it's illegal to walk on train tracks.
That is insane to watch, especially just how they scatter. Obviously, I'm guessing that they were not aware that it was an active train track still. I hope they weren't aware of that and still did it, but certainly weren't expecting it to come. But my goodness, thankfully they're okay, but definitely a good reminder to not do anything for a photo, right? Just, be safe. Pick safe places.
Right, and a lot of those trains now can move so fast, and they're a lot quieter, than some of those big, heavier, older ones. So definitely a good reminder, stay off the tracks, even though some of those pictures can be unique and pretty, probably not the best idea to do it.
Yes, go to some tracks that are not being used anymore. Yep, alrighty. Well, so we are going to finish out our transportation theme, finally ending with the car. And scientists, they are now confirming something that many people long suspected, but were never able to prove. If you see someone driving an expensive car, they're probably a jerk. Well, relax, luxury and sports vehicle owners. The finding is speculative and not obviously definitive. It was the result of some research published in the Journal of Transport and Health. The study found that those who drive flashy vehicles are less likely to stop and allow pedestrians to cross the road. According to the study, the likelihood of a driver slowing down drops by 3% for every extra $1,000 of their vehicle's value. The researchers came up with their findings by getting volunteers to cross a sidewalk hundreds of times, filming and analyzing driver responses. So what do you think of this, Tyler?
That's a pretty crazy study. I've never heard of a study anything like that, but I'm surprising how quickly it drops off. Every 3% for $1,000. I mean, that means if you have a very fancy car, you're losing percentages there pretty quickly.
Right, I know. And I know, you have an awesome truck, but I wouldn't consider it a fancy car.
Sure.
Yeah, I have an older RAV4, so definitely not fancy cars than us. I wouldn't mind having a fancy car, and I think that I would still be a pretty decent, nice driver if I had a fancier car and a little more money, but I don't know. What about you?
I like to think it's more about the person than the individual, so everyone would like a fancier car. I guess it's just about being humble when you do get to that level of economic success if you can get there.
Of course, very interesting study.
Definitely the one there.